you're looking at here is the continuing mock-up of Main Street in the town scene of Ennisburg Falls, Vermont. And one of the things I stumbled across this month, quite literally, was on a website called Shorpy. And if you're not familiar with Shorpy, they publish some great vintage photos like this one that you should be looking at now, which is a Jack Delano photo of Ennisburg Falls, Vermont, looking down Main Street, which is where you are here. It's actually looking across Main Street. A couple of things you'll notice there is there's a gas station to the left, a Shell service station. There's of all things, a popcorn stand right in front of the Shell station. And then there's an ice cream store across the street. But if you look to the right of the tracks, you'll see a string of boxcars sitting down on a siding. And to the right of the siding, you'll see what looks like a feed mill. So here on the layout, these mock-ups are absolutely stand-ins. They do not represent anything other than they were buildings I happened to grab, and they seem to fit pretty well in the space. This white building right over here is actually from a Walther's lumber yard, but it's standing in for that little ice cream parlor that you saw in the prototype photo. So that meant that Jack, the photographer, was standing here on this corner, looking this way, looking in this direction. Notice this is Main Street here, running up the center, so you're looking at it this way on the layout. The ice cream parlor is not shown on this Sanborn map. The Sanborn map dates from 1920, so the ice cream parlor wasn't there. But to give you a frame of reference, it's right here it's right at this corner, right by the Richford Branch main line coming into town. And this is that feed mill. And I really didn't have room over here to do justice to the feed mill. So what I decided to do was to actually switch the turnout to a right-handed turnout from a left-handed turnout. That was pretty straightforward. And then the other plan, excuse me while I pan over here, is in the distance here to add a bump out to the benchwork along this edge right here to accommodate the feed mill. That led to the question of what the feed mill actually looked like. And I could see something that looked like a W. I could see something that looked like the word or O-R-E. I saw a couple of other letters that I could barely make out on the right edge of that picture. And I thought really it said Worthmore Feeds, which is a brand of feeds. Another reference that I used is the Central Vermont Railway's Railway Historical Society's magazine, The Ambassador. This is a quarterly magazine. This one obviously was from the spring of 1993, and it has a really wonderful article on the Richford Branch. About 2 days after I sent that link to that Jack Delano picture to a group of my friends, I got an email from one of my good friends up in Vermont, Randy Laframboise, and he essentially sent me a link to a book, or the first thing he sent me was a picture of the complete feed mill. And you can see that I was partially right. It does say Worthmore, but it doesn't say Worthmore Feed. It actually says Occident Flour. And I immediately asked Randy where he had found that picture, and he said it was in a book that he had on Ennisburg Falls, a picture history of Ennisburg Falls, and that's this book here. And this is quite common. A lot of town historical societies, town genealogy societies publish books about the town. Some are better than others for our purposes, but you can see here there is that photograph of the feed mill. So what else have I been up to this month? Well, I've actually finished a couple of models, and this is one of them. This is a Sunshine Models Louisville and Nashville Railroad rebuilt boxcar. So obviously it's not finished yet, or at least it's not completed because it's not painted and lettered, but it is built. So it was nice to actually get my hands dirty and work on some models again. All right, to spare you the dizziness of in-flight and to overcome my bad camera work, I went ahead and just paused the camera and moved it over here. And you can see here, this is where that feed mill is going to go. It's going to go on a little jutted out shelf right here. In order to make sure I had enough aisle space to accommodate it, what I wanted to do is build the paper mill peninsula. And you can just see I just panned across to the latest edition of the benchwork. And then the other thing I've been working on is, as you can see by the table here, I've dug out my DCC system. I've been getting ready to put that in place and trying to figure out or remember which part goes where. And so I hope to have by next month us running trains on digital command control. In the meantime, have a great 4th of July weekend, have a safe, happy holiday weekend, and I will see you soon. Thanks. Bye.